Right, hey guys, it's Weston here. So today I'm going to be reviewing the HTC One A9. Now I'm going to be doing this much different to all my other reviews, and I'm actually going to be using the HTC One A9 for as much of the possible review as I can. So right now you're seeing the front-facing camera and you're hearing the built-in microphone from this phone. So that'll just give you an idea of what the quality is like there. So I will denote which camera you're actually seeing the footage from, so whether it's the front or the rear, and you'll just get an idea of the quality in different light conditions indoors. You'll also get to hear the audio from the front and from the rear, just to see what the quality is like there as well. So let's not waste any more time and let's just jump in and review this phone. Right, so now we get onto the design, and I actually really like how this phone's designed. Even though it does look like another phone I'm not going to mention, it's actually really nicely designed. So looking at the colour first, it's probably my favourite bit of the design, and it's deep garnet, and I think it's really nice. It's definitely nicer than all those rose gold pink phones that we're seeing at the minute. So looking at the back again, we can see up top we've got your camera, and it does stick out from the back of the phone. Now I wish the phone was a little bit thicker and didn't have this, but there's not a deal we can do about it really. To the side of that we've got your dual tone LED flash, and then below that we've got one of two antenna bands and a microphone. In the middle we've got the HTC logo, and then down at the bottom we've got the second antenna band. Looking around the phone next and up top there's pretty much nothing. At the right side we've got your textured power button, which feels really great. We've also got your volume rocker just above that. Then we get down on to the bottom of the phone, and on here we've got your 3.5mm jack, a speaker, your USB port and a microphone. And then at the left side we've got access to your SIM card and SD expansion. Looking at the front of the phone you can see we've got your front facing camera, an earpiece, all your sensors. In the middle we've got your 5-inch display, and then right down at the bottom we've got your HTC branding again and a fingerprint scanner. Now the scanner actually works pretty decent. It's about 90% accurate, so it doesn't work flawlessly all the time. And I did notice that your finger has to be in the right position when using it, and you also have to apply a little bit of pressure to get it to recognise the print. Right guys, so next up we get onto a very good feature of this phone, and that is the display. So it's 5 inches, it's covered in Gorilla Glass 3, it's AMOLED, it's full HD, and it has a pixel density of 441 ppi, and it's actually a very nice looking display, and it's one of the nicer looking AMOLED panels I've seen. So they do pop a little bit more than IPS, but it's not quite as in your face as Samsung's panels, so they've done a good job of sort of keeping it in check there. So looking at the colours and stuff, they're really nice, and like I said, they've just got a nice bit of pop, but it's not too much. So blacks are very nice and deep. Like I said, colours have got a really nice tone to them. They're not the most accurate colours I've ever seen. I think IPS panels are better for that. But it's a nice display. Photos look very nice on it, even though they do sort of tend to oversaturate your photos a little bit. But I think that just makes it a little bit more exciting than IPS. But like I said, if you want that more realistic, then this might not be for you. But if you want something that looks a little bit pleasing to the eye, then AMOLED is definitely the way to go. But like I said, yeah, blacks look really nice and really deep. Whites, a little bit tinted, but not too bad. You can actually adjust them in the settings if you want to. But yeah, all in all for the display it's really good. 1080p video is fine, and it looks really good on YouTube. So yeah, no complaints with the display whatsoever. Right guys, so this phone is running Android 6.0.1, which is Android Marshmallow, and it's actually really nice. And you've probably seen Marshmallow videos before and all the features that brings. But HTC have done a pretty decent job with it actually. It's not too intrusive and it still flows really smoothly. Now it doesn't look like stock Android, which is my preferred style, but I think it's a very nice, and I think it's much nicer than LG's and Samsung's. That's just my opinion, but I think they've done a good job with it. It's still really smooth, it's still really fluid, it looks really nice. All the icons look pretty nice as well, they're not too cartoonish, and I just think they've done a good job with it. Settings menu, again, not like stock Android, and you do actually get a pretty good selection of settings. It does look a little bit different in the style of it. It's not actually that different, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I think they've done a really good job with how they've implemented Marshmallow on this phone. I would prefer a closer to stock Android-like experience, but HTC have done their own thing with it, and I actually think they've done a good job with it. Unlike some manufacturers that just completely throw Android out of the window and just put their own really sort of heavy skin on it, this is actually a really light skin, and yeah, it doesn't impact how you use the phone really whatsoever. Right guys, so now we get on to performance of this phone, and this is packing a Snapdragon 617, an Adreno 405. It has 2GB of RAM, 16GB built-in storage, which is expandable up to a massive 2TB. So yeah, some pretty decent specs, but how does it actually perform? Well, with Android Marshmallow it's actually really smooth, it's really fluid, and yeah, it's just an overall good experience in the UI. So there's no major issues there. Switching between apps is not fantastic and it's not the best I've seen. So for multitasking you might struggle a little bit because it's only got the 2GB of RAM. But for just general tasks like web browsing, social media and all that stuff, it works perfectly fine. So there's no issues there whatsoever. It's only when you start gaming does the phone start to struggle a little bit. I did notice that Asphalt 8 was only playing on medium settings instead of high. So yeah, it just looked a little bit worse than it did on other devices I've tested. It still played really smoothly, it just didn't look as nice as other games did. Games like Angry Birds though play really nice and really smoothly, so there's no issues there whatsoever. It's just for more intense tasks that it does start to struggle a little bit. Right guys, so now we get onto the battery life of this phone, and it's not that impressive. So it's got a 2150 mAh battery built in, and it'll actually do you 2 days if you use the phone really lightly, so just a couple of calls, a few emails, a bit of social media, and you can actually get through 2 days without a problem. If you start using the phone sort of more medium to heavy use, then it does start to struggle for getting you through a day. So yeah, 2 days is entirely possible if you use it right. If you use it like we actually use smartphones, then you get in about a day, possibly a day and a half if you use some of Marshmallow's battery saving features. Screen on time, we're getting about 4 hours depending on usage, so 4 hours is sort of light to medium use, and that is pretty much on average what I was receiving. If you use the phone for more intense use, then you're going to be getting more on the lines of 3 to 3.5 hours screen on time. Right, so now we get onto the cameras, and we'll start with the front facing camera first, and that's actually what we're shooting this portion of the review with. So the front facing camera is 4 megapixels, it can shoot 1080p, and it has an aperture of f2.0. Now let's take a look at a couple of samples, and you can see outside it does really well. It's not the best front facing camera I've ever seen, but it's not the worst either. If you crop in a little bit, you can see we're losing a little bit of detail because it's only 4 megapixels. But if you're just sharing selfies to social media, then it's not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad at all. Looking at some indoor ones, and you can see they're actually really noisy and not that usable. So yeah, the front facing camera isn't amazing, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. Then we get onto the rear camera, and we'll go back outside again, and you can see some of the shots are really nice. Colours are quite oversaturated though, I did notice, and depending on your lighting you're going to get some either really good pictures or you're going to get some pretty bad ones. I also had some difficulties focusing as well, so when I was getting close up to say a flower or something to take sort of a macro style shot, it wouldn't actually focus. So yeah, there is a little bit of issue there. Also looking at colour accuracy of some more of these, and again it's just really contrasty and really oversaturated. I'm not really sure why it's doing this, and bear in mind that these are all in auto mode, so if you play around with the settings a bit you might be able to get them to look a bit different. But all in all, I mean, they're not fantastic, so I'm just going to show you a quick sample of the rear video and what you can expect outside from that. Right guys, so now we're testing the rear camera on the HTC A9, and we're going to see how stable it is. So I'm just on the path now. The footage isn't looking fantastic, to be honest. It's looking quite oversaturated actually compared to what the conditions are actually in. I mean, lighting isn't fantastic today, it's really cloudy and a bit grey, but I mean there is decent light. So anyway, this is the rear camera. You can see I'm going off-road now, but it's actually really stable, nice looking footage, it's just the colour's a little bit off. So here you go, that's what you can expect from the rear cam on the HTC A9. Hey guys, so now I'm testing the front
facing camera on the HTC A9. So all the audio you're hearing and the video you're seeing now is directly from the front camera, and it actually is looking pretty nice. I mean, it's not the greatest conditions today. I should have come out yesterday actually when it was really sunny, but I was doing other things. But anyway, this is what you could expect from the front facing camera in sort of conditions like these. So let's just see what it looks like in different light. And it's actually doing pretty decent. A better test obviously would be in really bright sunlight, but yeah, I think it's pretty nice. It looks pretty stable. Yeah, pretty good.
Right guys, so now we get on to the audio quality, and we're going to talk 3.5mm jack first, and it's actually one of the best I've ever experienced on a smartphone, so good job HTC there. I really like listening to my music through 3.5mm, so it's really important that the audio quality is good, and this phone does deliver that. It's got some software built in by Dolby. I personally don't use it because I just think it sounds a little bit too sort of over-processed. I just switch that off and just keep it without it on, and it sounds really good. It's got a good bass, the mid-range is nice and clear, good representation of vocals and high frequencies as well, depending on which sort of headphones you're using. But I'm really impressed with how good it actually sounds. Then we get on to the speaker, and it's actually pretty impressive. It's not as good as boom sound. Now I don't know why they didn't put that on this phone, but anyway, the side firing speaker is actually pretty decent. The quality's good, it's got a little bit of depth to it, mid-range is okay. The high frequencies, again, not fantastic, but it's not the worst I've heard and it's not the best. Right guys, so that just about wraps it up for this review. So what do I think of this phone? Well, if the phone was brought out a few years ago, then I think it would have been a great phone. But now, based on what you can pick up from the Chinese manufacturers for less than this, it kind of makes it difficult to recommend this phone. Yes, it's good, it's really well made, it's really nicely designed, the UI is really nice, the screen is lovely, the cameras, yeah, they're not fantastic, and neither is the battery life, but I think it is a really solid phone. I'm struggling to recommend it to you though because of the other phones you can pick up now for about £100 less than this one. Based on what else you can get in terms of raw specifications and everything else, yeah, it kind of makes it really difficult to recommend this phone. Right guys, so that is pretty much it for this review. I'd like to thank Vodafone for sending me this out for me to review, and I'd also like to thank you guys for watching and all that good stuff you do on my channel. If you're new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button for more reviews like this, and more coming very soon. And also, if you want me to do more videos in this style where I use the product to actually film the review with, let me know. I mean, I know it wasn't perfect, it's my first attempt, so let me know if I should work on this and make more in this style. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you all on the very next video.